Hello. I hope you're all doing well. And if not, I at least hope that your night improves. Okay. So, tonight we'll be doing... we'll be using a deck that I don't really use on stream. I don't think I've actually used it at all on stream yet. But we're going to be using the TrueBlack Tarot. Because I feel like using this one tonight. So... Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll also be using the Litha Oracle again. The Seasons of the Witch Litha Oracle, as well as the Eventide Affirmations. What message do we need to hear today? Hello, Dixon. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Ah. This deck is... I don't use this deck much, so it's it's a bit stiff to shuffle still. Oh, so it takes a lot of effort. It's made very well. It's a very good cardstock, but man, you need some hand strength for this. Okay. Okay, we have words, apparently. We have words. Yeah, no problem. Problem, Meg. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. I believe... So the one thing about these cards, and I'm probably going to have to check them occasionally because there are certain ones that I'm still not super familiar with. Like, I believe this is the Knight of Wands, because it doesn't say, like, what suit it is. It just says, like, the court, like, the court card, or, like, the number on it. Yeah, I'm pretty certain this one is Knight of Wands. I will check, though. Like, some are super obvious. Some of them aren't. Yes, that is the Knight of Wands. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands, the Nine of Swords. They had some words here, okay? And I know this one is definitely yelling at me a little bit. They particularly like yelling at me with this one sometimes. So, I don't know, maybe that was why they wanted me to use it, or why, rather, I felt called to use it. Maybe they wanted to scream at me a little more. The moon reversed. The Five of Pentacles. Hi, Bree. I hope you're doing well. Followed by the King of Pentacles. Okay. The Two of Wands, the Five of Wands, and the Four of Swords. They had words! They had words. They had lots of words. So. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. There is definitely a bit of a fear of the unknown here, okay? There's definitely a bit of a fear of the unknown here, and that would be coming here from the moon in particular. But because it's reversed, I think this is like kind of like a more of like a vibe of like this is something that is being confronted here. It's something that you need to keep confronting. Essentially. So there's a bit of a fear of the unknown here, and you're being asked to confront it. And confront all of these anxieties and worries and fears and doubts that you're holding on to. Particularly this might be coming for you specifically from this Five of Pentacles, the Five of Coins here. You might be worried about finances here a little bit, or some financial situation, and you're wondering, how the fuck am I supposed to get through this? How's my future going to look here, okay? Like, where am I being led? Where am I going? What's the purpose of all this? Is this really going to work out? Are things really going to be okay? And this doesn't necessarily have to be coming from, like, financial situation, because there's a lot to be worried about currently with current state of the world, okay? There's a lot going on, and if you feel a little bit, like, worried, uncertain, and unstable, and, like, all that fucking sort of shit, that's completely okay, and that's completely valid. But it's important that we don't get stuck in the sense of fear, and particularly fears regarding ourselves, and like stepping out and being seen here is also kind of like a sense that I'm like getting here, okay? You're being asked to be brave here, okay? Bravely pursue the things that make you happy, that give you joy, and that you're passionate about, and that you're fucking good at, because you are good at them, okay? You are. the King of Pentacles is here to remind you that yes, success is in the future. There is a lot of success in the future, in fact, because there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, a lot of things to pursue here with the Two of Wands here. Sometimes this card likes to be referred to as like, the vibes of it are the entire world's at your fingertips, or like the world is your oyster, and that very much is like the vibe with this. There's lots to explore, lots to see, lots to experience, okay? So don't give up on things just yet. And particularly if you're being, for those who might fear just putting themselves out there, and if you're being seen and like giving what they have to offer here, if you're worried that people aren't going to agree with you, that like people are only going to like, that there's going to be like conflict and competition and just like comparison here, okay, and just all sorts of just like petty bullshit with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is like that card of like petty bullshit, okay? Petty arguments, just like pissing contest is like a phrase that I hear used a lot. I prefer the term or phrase dick measuring contest though. Because unnecessary comparison is definitely like the vibe. Okay. So, it's essentially petty, unnecessary, like, arguments, bullshit, all that sort of shit. It's just, like, not gonna really help anyone involved, and this might be why you're afraid to put yourself out there, and why you're afraid to let yourself be seen, and you fear that this is something that you're going to, like, experience, that people are just going to disagree with you, people are going to attack you, people are just going to, like, compare you to others, and just, like, you know, like, you're not good enough. Why are you here? Like, what? And particularly if you also find yourself comparing yourself to others, you're being asked to put these worries, these fears, and these comparisons to rest, okay? Like, take a break from them, okay? Just put a pause on that shit, okay? Especially if you're comparing, like, your talents, your gifts, your abilities, your growth, just like someone else's, or like their journey, your journey to theirs. Like, comparison is very much not your friend, okay? In any regard. Okay? And, like, it's okay if you do find yourself comparing yourself to, like, others. Try to essentially create a bit of distance between that, okay? Like, keep, like, not putting any energy into that. Keep distancing from that, okay? Keep putting distance between that, urge, okay? Because your growth, your journey is unique to you, and it's going to occur, like, in the time that works best for you, okay? And it's going to be unique to you, okay? Like, you may find yourself, like, like, doing, like, similar things? Yes. Are you going to get the exact same results? Probably not. Is there anything wrong with that? No. because it's going to work out the way that's best for you, okay? So, that had a lot to say. That had a lot to say. Hello, and also welcome back, Egg. Now let's see what the Litha Oracle wants to add. I don't like that there were like 2 cards that immediately popped out. Like, those were ready. Those were ready. Okay, so we have here daisies and hummingbird. Oh, so hello, Candy Yams. Okay, daisies. There is a whisper of a glimpse of opportunities to fill your life with joy. Keywords here are truthfulness, pure joy, feeling better, love, and care. Daisies really are one of the happiest flowers. They are small but bright and seem to dance in the wind as though they haven't a care in the world. Often given to people who are sick or down, these little flowers bring a burst of cheer into your darkest days. Receiving them is a reminder that someone loves and cares for you and took the time to make sure you're doing okay. Someone is thinking of you when you receive this card and would love to hear from you soon. And they have wondered whether or not you're okay, or perhaps are hoping you're thinking of them as well. This card can mean a happy reunion is on the way, especially if someone specific popped into your mind. Reach out and see if there is an opportunity to reconnect with someone who could bring a vast amount of joy into your life. If someone reaches out to you, be sure to reciprocate the interest, even if your last encounter ended on a sour note. Daisies are sometimes given as a sign of lasting love and friendship, so give things another chance. Interesting. So... and then we have hummingbird. The winds beneath your wings are shifting, and if you don't pay attention, you may lose flight. Keywords here are swiftness, adaptability, and pivoting. Hummingbirds are small but mighty, with wings that can beat almost 100 times per second. They can travel great distances and change direction in an instant with smoothness and grace. You too are being called to be more flexible when a hummingbird enters your reading. The current path you're on isn't suiting your needs, and it's time to consider some additional options, or at the very least, a new approach. Think about what is and is not working for you, and how you can use this information to bring clarity to your question. This card can also mean your situation is evolving rapidly and you are not keeping up with the changes, which can cause you to feel overwhelmed. If you are unwilling to adapt, it might be time to consider whether or not this is the right path forward, because the world will pass you by if you hold on too tightly to outdated methods. If you are reading about another person, receiving this card is a sign to speak up against someone who is too rigid in their thinking. You will continue to see stagnation unless all involved are willing to be more flexible. So, adaptability here is the fucking key, okay? If there is something that is not working for you, it's time to readjust. Readjust. Okay? Or let it go. Don't hold on to the things that are only going to hold you back, okay? Let them go and free yourself. Let's see what this head. Yeah, that's going very in line with that hummingbird card. Very, very in line with that hummingbird card. Endings can make room for what I want to call into my life. Let those old chapters close, okay? Don't hold on to them because they're only going to hold you back. Don't hold on to that shit. Okay? And I forgive myself for the times I didn't know any better. Are you holding on to shame for past mistakes that you made? Hmm? Also, Dixon, that doesn't mean that there isn't still someone out there who cares for you, okay? Spirit still cares if there is no one else, but there are still people out there who care. Okay? That's really the message of the Daisy card, is that you are cared for, even if you feel like you're alone. Yeah. I'm sorry, Egg. I'm sure that can probably be pretty difficult at times. Yeah. I know that feeling, Dixon. But that's why my guides like reminding me all the time that I'm cared for and loved and protected. They really, really like saying that a lot to me lately. Okay, so for whoever needed to hear that message, I hope it helps. So I'm not saying that this is the case, Dixon, but this is something they kind of get on my ass about all the time. Sometimes it's not that spirit, sometimes the reason that we kind of also occasionally lose connection to spirit at times is because we do our best to shove them out as well. And I'm very guilty of that sometimes. I'm not sure if my mic picked that up, but my cup just made a funny noise as I was like taking a drink from it. I think it picked it up that time. Apparently wants to make glugging noises. Yeah, see you later, Bree. I'm assuming you're getting ready for yours. So, have fun. I hope it goes well. And as long as I don't go too late, I'll probably be there, okay? Yeah, I ate earlier, before stream. For once, actually. I ate before stream. But yes, you should also go get yourself some food. Mm-hmm. Okay. What message should I be watching here today? That sounds delicious. Egg. I've never had Waffle House. I don't have any near me, sadly. But that always sounds delicious. Nice. Okay, I think that's the Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords, I think? Yes. Okay. Sorry, there are a few... The court cards in particular, there are a few of them that I'm still unfamiliar with because they don't actually have any labels on them. Aside from, like, the number or, like, the like, court card Yeah. So there are some that I'm like kind of unfamiliar with, so I have to kind of like verify that I'm actually thinking they are, like that they are actually the cards that I'm thinking they are. I don't use this deck nearly enough to be like 100% familiar with all of them yet, but I know most of them. And here we have the Chariot. I adore the art on these cards. And the Hangman reversed. Strength. The Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Cups. Okay. So, there's definitely, with the Chariot and the Hanged Man reversed, there's definitely a call to action here, okay? There may be something you're hoping to see movement and progress with here, with the Chariot and Hanged Man reversed. A situation that you're hoping to move forward with here, and if you're thinking that you can't, you can, okay? It is going to require a level of strength to move forward with this, and also I get a sense of like a bit of patience here, okay? You might fear moving forward with this because you don't know how it's going to work out, and you're afraid that you can't speak your mind, that you don't have what it takes to speak your mind without hurting someone or like hurting others' feelings in some regard here, okay? Is the vibe that I'm getting with the Queen of Swords and Queen of Cups combined. But here's the thing. You are emotionally capable of handling this, okay? You have the emotional maturity and emotional intelligence necessary to move forward with this situation, okay? Not only that, you do have the intelligence to move forward with this, with the Queen of Swords. More than that, though, the Queen of Swords here is a direct reminder here that you do have the ability to be direct, okay? You do. You're just afraid. Probably based on past experiences, but a message they like giving me a lot lately is about not letting past experiences influence how you move forward, okay? Just because something went one way in the past, or some situation with a person went a certain way in the past, that was them. This is not the same person, okay? If you treat them like they're going to end up being the same way that this person was, you're probably not going to move forward in the way that you want to, because you're letting that fear hold you back. So, there is a certain level of patience here with the strength card. there is a sense of patience here, and this situation may require patience. But that doesn't mean that you still can't take action on this, okay? You do have the ability to go after the things that you want, without outside influence of others, okay? So, don't be afraid to be direct and communicate what it is you want and what you need, okay? And let's see what the Oracle would add to that. My goodness. Exactly. It's all about not letting those fears hold you back, which is why there have been a lot of messages about, like, a need for bravery. Because you won't know until you actually try something. Past experiences can essentially program us to behave a certain way. Yeah, obviously. If it were something unhealthy, they wouldn't be encouraging this. But that's why there's been, like, a message of, like, bravery. Past experiences can essentially create this programming within us where we just confine ourselves to a box and we, out of fear, stay in that box. And that prevents us sometimes from experiencing, like, the things that we truly want to experience, because we're always so worried. We're always so fucking worried that things are going to go horribly wrong, that we just don't get out of our comfort zone and we stay confined to that box, never actually allowing ourselves to truly experience the things that we want to out of fear. And that's why breaking that old programming is necessary. Because if we continue telling ourselves that we can never have the things we want, if we continue telling ourselves that things are only going to go horribly wrong, and if we never actually try things just to see where that experience leads, that leads to regrets later in life, because then we'll look back on that and say, but what if I had done things differently? Either way, we're always going to have those what ifs later in life, okay? Now, would you rather have those what ifs be based in that like wonder of, you know, like, what if I actually had pursued those things? What if my life had looked completely different now because I'd actually went after them? Or would you rather attempt those things and say, well, what if I'd done this slightly differently? Or what if I'd never had this experience at all? And then we have citrus fruits and horse. Uh, 18. It is time to surrender to your unraveling. Allow the waking sight to expand and illuminate you. Keywords here are spiritual opening, cleansing, and purity. The brightness, freshness, and powerful cleansing properties of citrus fruits have appeared as a sign of your spiritual awakening. This is a powerful portal that promises the deliverance of the illusions you have experienced up until this point. You are literally waking up and beginning to question everything about your relationships, purpose, and way of living. Old teachings, especially those to do with religion and spiritual beliefs, may begin to feel wrong or elicit doubts about whether or not you are actually receiving benefits from their guidance. Yeah, see you later, Dixon. You may find that things naturally come to a conclusion when receiving this card. Relationships drift away and you grow apart. A house no longer feels like a home, or you feel it's time to move on from a career or job. These are intentional decisions that feel right rather than anything destructive or devastating. You are simply beginning to align with your soul and make choices that reflect this evolution. Ultimately, you will begin to feel more light and free as a result of this process, and many people will begin to experience a deeper understanding of your soul's calling. Okay. This is very much about going in line with letting go of old, like, systems of belief and old, like, limiting beliefs, particularly, that no longer serve you. And that happens occasionally as we progress through a healing journey. And then horse. Keywords, unsure of how to break out of your cage, Spirit shares strength through acts of liberation. Keywords here are freedom, regality, confidence, and strength. Horses are meant to be wild and free, which is why they are such powerful creatures that are capable of running for long distances and over different terrain. It's not uncommon to hear tales of having to break a horse when attempting to domesticate a wild one. How sad it must be for a horse to go from roaming endless landscapes to being confined to a small box inside a barn. If a horse remains bound for long enough, it may fail to see when the opportunity presents itself to run back into the wild. When the horse card gallops into your reading, it could be a sign that your spirit is broken and you have lost your sense of regality and strength. You may feel stuck, stagnant, bored, or stuck in a rut, unsure of how to break out of your cage to find more passion and excitement. Dig deep and reconnect with your sense of freedom. Remove the shoulds and supposed to do's from your perspective and follow your heart and instincts. The beauty about being free is that you can change your mind. If you go one way and find that doesn't work, simply shift directions and try something else, never apologizing for not being caged. So, yeah, that kind of goes very, very much in line with that. Sometimes we're afraid to try something because we're always worried about, like, how permanent it's going to be. But if we try something out and we realize this, and that largely, I mean that in the sense of sometimes, essentially, due to like societal like conditioning and such. So societal conditioning and such sometimes just kind of like, because of like its definition of like success and productivity and all that sort of fucking bullshit, we think we have to do something we think we just have to keep doing something for like, once we make a choice on something, that we have to stick with that forever. Because if you give up on something or you change your mind, that's kind of seen as like a sign of failure rather than as an experience that you had. It defines it in terms of success rather than, you know, like what it should actually be. Experience. What experience did you get out of it? What experiences did you have going down that path? That applies to many things, okay? And relationships are no different. If you try something out and you realize it's not for you and that it's not working out for like either of you, and you decide to change your mind, that's fine. Okay? That's fine. Like, you still put yourself out there, you still got a bit of experience that you didn't have before, and hopefully along the way you had fun. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you won't know how it ends until you actually give things a try. Which is the message, of course, there. Let's see what this one's dad. Okay. We have two cards. Engage with others in ways that honor and respect them. Okay. And that very much goes in line with that Queen of Swords energy there. Being direct doesn't mean that you're going to be crossing boundaries. It's about communicating. Communicating, like, in a more direct way, what you actually need from something, okay? And we should never fear actually speaking up about those things, okay? That doesn't mean that you're going to be stepping on the toes of others. And I can trust things will unfold the way that they should. I'm honestly surprised the "what if things go better than I expect" card didn't pop out, because I would have fucking laughed. Okay. So whoever needed to hear that message, I hope it helps. Okay, and with that, let me go ahead and open the cube. Okay, cube's open. Hello. Okay, are you ready, Adam? Okay. What message does Adam need to hear today? Reversed. Okay, that one just legitimately flip-flopped back and forth. Right or reversed. Right or reversed. Okay. Upright. First. Okay, that one really just wants to be reversed. Okay. I believe. Is that the Ace of... I need to check if that's the Ace of Wands. Or fire. Because it's a sword, but there's like a lot of fire. Okay, it is the Ace of Swords. Interesting, that's odd. Okay. Okay. So there's the Devil reversed, but it did kind of flip-flop. I asked it if it wanted to be upright or reversed. It flipped upright, and then I flipped it again and it went reversed. It landed reversed. So And that kind of tells me it's calling from both sides here. And then we have the Emperor. And the Ace of Swords reversed. So, very interesting. Okay, so essentially there's kind of a sense here with the Devil card. It was like it flip-flopped, so it's calling partly on like the upright energy as well, but I know why it's reversed, and it wants to kind of signify like the release of these things. But essentially, like, these past behaviors, okay, that weren't so great here. I also do know too why the Emperor kind of like popped out sideways too. So this past behavior, okay, and you know what behavior it's talking about here, okay? Okay. The past toxic mindsets that you have been working like so hard to break, okay? You are making progress on this, okay? You are making progress on this. You are working on releasing this here, okay? But I also get the sense that you're still kind of judging yourself for this. And you're kind of being a bit hard on yourself for these past mistakes and this past behavior that you did engage in, okay? And essentially, I definitely get the sense too, given like the Devil reversed and the Emperor card here, there is a bit of a sense of just like kind of you're a bit afraid to embrace yourself fully and embrace your strength fully here, okay? This could be for like a multitude of reasons. It may be out of like not really knowing where you should be like putting that, like what you should be putting that into or what you should be doing with it. And you might be afraid that you're going to like use it in the wrong way, okay? This isn't a part of yourself that you should deny, okay? The strength, this power that is contained within you, that you do hold, is not something that you should deny, okay? There's... sorry to keep pausing, there's just like a lot here, okay? And I'm trying to sift through it. There's a lot that I'm like trying to essentially put into words. That's primarily coming from these two, okay? And the combination of it. There's a sense of like self-actualization with it as well, okay? And why like stepping into this like role is like a positive here and not something you should fear, okay? Essentially you just stepping up and being a leader doesn't mean that you actually have to put yourself out there in like a super public way, okay? That can just be confined to like a small group of like friends and like those close to you. It's not being a leader in the sense that you actually have to like step out and like put yourself out there in a big way. It's more so being a pillar of strength here, okay? Reliable, being someone who people like others can lean on, being a support for others. This is something you fear, okay? I don't know who just fucking said that, but I do know that someone is crying currently. But yeah, I think I understand now why you've been getting the Emperor card so much. And why the Emperor card has been popping out so much in general. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely the vibe there. Like, that's essentially the context that, like, that's the context of, like, this leadership vibe here, essentially. It's about being someone that people can rely on, being a support for others. And supporting them in the ways that they need here, okay? And I get the sense that this is something that you fear. Something that you still fear. Because you're worried that you're not able to offer it in the ways that matter. In the ways that you want to. Okay? You're afraid that you're going to make these same mistakes that you made in the past. And that it's going to end up the same way that it did before. Someone's definitely crying and I don't know who it is. But they're really making me want to cry right now. That may be multiple of them. But, yeah. This is something you can do, okay? This is something you can be. This is something you can embody. This isn't something that you should continue fearing. If you continue letting this fear get in the way, and continue telling yourself that, you know, like, you don't have, like, the capacity to, like, support others in, like, a meaningful way, then you may never get to the point that you want to with that. Okay? And if this is the case, that's essentially the vibe here with the Ace of Swords, by the way. The Ace of Swords being like, Ace of Swords upright would be like, essentially, it's embodying a new way of, like, thinking, a new way of being, okay? And if you keep putting yourself in this box, you're going to keep experiencing these delays. This is something that you need to step out of and step into this role, okay? Because you are needed. Let's see what the Oracle deck wants to add. Oh. Oh. Fuck. Lightworker is your card. Oh, so I like how everything here, the scheme, color scheme is just yellow. Lightworker. The transmutation of shadow is needed when seeking the light that guides you. Very much in line with that Devil Reversed card there. Keywords here are soul alignment, following passions, and transmuting shadow. When a light creates a shadow, notice how the light doesn't dim as a response. It continues to shine even though the shadow is there, looming in the background. Light cannot avoid shadows any more than you can avoid people who are mean, rude, unsupportive, or lacking vision. Shining your light doesn't mean everyone will love you. It means you're turning on your light so that the people who can and will love you in the way that you need to be loved can find you. Shining your light doesn't take much, simply a commitment to follow your passions and embrace the things that bring you joy, excitement, and a sense of wonder. Your soul falls into alignment a little bit more every time you follow what's in your heart. There is no need to fear the hows, whys, or what ifs. If a desire has made its way to you, it's because Spirit has already given it to you and is waiting for you to receive this gift. The right people, place, and opportunities will seek you out, providing you with the necessary resources to achieve your dreams. When you listen carefully, your soul will tell you who is right and who is wrong, who can support you and who cannot. Don't worry about the shadows in the background. They can yell and intimidate, stare and complain, but they do not have the power to stop your light from shining. Then there's a little something unusual with this card. They included a little quote. You don't get to tell people how to love you. You get to choose if you want to participate in the way they love. Whoa. Okay. Two cards immediately popped out. Shuffled. Like, I barely started shuffling the Eventide Affirmations deck, and it's just like, no, we're ready. Here you go. I forgive myself for the times I didn't know any better. And I can trust things will unfold the way that they should. I think I forgot to turn down my light. I didn't realize how fucking bright it was until, like, just now. Whoops. So I hope that message helps. That one was a bit of an intense one. Whew. Okay. Let me go ahead and also issue a last call for the queue. I'll leave the queue open for a little bit longer. If you still want to join, you may still do so. However, I will be closing it shortly. Okay, are you ready, Egg? Okay. Yeah. What message does Egg need to hear today? Oh, I'm sorry. Fucking hiccup. Okay. Okay, we have... My goodness, hold on. Rider reversed. Okay. 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 We have the Star. Followed by Strength. Followed by the Sun. Followed by the Empress. Yes. Yes. Indeed we did. Followed by the Knight of Coins. You have almost all major arcana, so they're definitely just like, there are. The four major arcana popped out immediately, but then the fifth one kind of popped out almost as like an afterthought, and it was kind of funny. uh. Okay, so lots of significant things. Yes, because there's a lot of major arcana energy here, okay? So, definitely like a, essentially, a lot of good things. With like the Star, there's like a very healing, hopeful energy here, okay? And that is also definitely like, yeah, like there's a vibe of just kind of like significant healing here, okay? And yes, this might be a bit scary. I mean, it could be about both. It could be about both. Okay. But essentially there's essentially just kind of like a vibe here of just like deep healing here with the presence of the Star and the Sun. This is something that's like happening in like a very positive way for you currently, and this might be causing you to feel like a bit scared, hence why I believe that this like Strength card is popping out here for you, because this might be something that is like a bit scary, something that you don't know quite how to handle here, which is leading to a bit of uncertainty and like, you know, kind of like that whole vibe of like what do I do in this situation? Yeah. There's a sense of, like, patience with that strength card as well as you're, like, navigating the situation. Yes. I say that because those two kind of sometimes go hand in hand for me. Like, they usually go hand in hand for me because if strength is popping out, it's usually, like, telling us, like, to hold on in a lot of cases, and be brave. Because there can be, like, a sense of fear that, like, pops up when this card shows itself. And essentially, like, the sun signifying, like, a very positive, like, happy, bright energy here, signaling, like, better days ahead, okay? The sun, the card that follows the star is the moon. It's that period of darkness before we actually see the light. The light being the sun card that follows the moon. It's the sign that better days are ahead, that brighter days are ahead, that darkness doesn't last forever, okay? So, these very, very much like popping up after particular, like, periods of, like, hardship and struggle, okay? And that in combination, like I said earlier, with the star card is, like, very, very deeply healing vibe here. And it might feel a little bit scary because we don't know what to do with it. But we just gotta keep holding on tight to it and keep moving forward. Okay? And essentially, what this energy here is leading you to is this Empress energy. Okay? This Empress energy is very compassionate, very loving, very warm, and very supportive. Okay? Very much like returning to, like, that core self vibe here, okay? And very much as the card kind of alludes to, with, like, the pattern that's hidden in the back there. If you can't see that, that's a honeycomb pattern. It's definitely queen bee shit, okay? Where you're on top of things again, and you feel more like yourself. You have lots of compassion and love for yourself and also for others, essentially. It's a very warm, compassionate, loving energy, very bright, very yeah. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Essentially here with the the fucking Knight of Coins energy here is essentially just, like, about the Knight of the Knight of Coins energy is definitely like the most reliable of like the Knight energy cards. It's that like sense of reliability, the most trustworthy one, and there's definitely also like a vibe of like taking like practical, meaningful action with that Knight of Coins card. But this also may just kind of be signifying the energy of the other person here. So, let's see what the Oracle wants to add. So essentially, just keep holding on, even if this is like something that's like very deeply like confronting to you and something that's very scary. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's apparently the only one they have. So, let's see. We have sunbathing. The dance of stillness is calling for you to live in its embrace. Keywords here are spiritual strength and restoration. There are many ways to experience rest and self-care, and you are being guided to explore the ways you need to heal at this time. Look beyond the most obvious choices of rest and relaxation, although these are worthy pursuits, because typically this card indicates a need to experience a spiritual restoration, such as spending more time in meditation and prayer, communicating with your guides or ancestors, or developing a spiritual self-care practice that might manifest in working with herbs, tarot cards, something related to your culture's mysticism, or natural cycles of the season. It's important to establish a regular practice of spiritual nourishment rather than anything that is one-off. Having a ritual grounds your energy, allowing you to build your soul's strength, which will make it easier when you inevitably find yourself facing the harsh realities and responsibilities everyone faces throughout a lifetime. So, essentially, it's going very much in line with that, like, deeply healing energy here, okay? Yes, you should take care of yourself. Like, this, definitely, like, still listen to that, like, call for, like, self-care there, okay? But it's also definitely kind of, like, speaking to that, like, deeply, like, restoring, healing energy that's here with this star and the sun, okay? Yeah, they might also wish to talk to you themselves more directly here, okay? Also, that's very cute, by the way, Egg. Okay. Okay. we had cards pop out immediately from the Eventide Affirmations deck again. I trust that there are unseen forces collaborating with me to create the life I want. And I can release shame and judgment of myself. And I know you redeemed an Illuminator's Amulet card here, so would you like to ask a question, like a yes or no question with this? You don't have to say it out loud, by the way. I just want to say that. You do not have to say it out loud if you want to keep it to yourself. But if there is a question that you have that you would like to keep in your head, do so, okay? Okay. See what answer they have for you. They really like giving you two. There's a block exists, which I do believe is this. It's that sense of fear, okay? This is what's blocking you. Okay? However, the second card, a sign of success. Yes. Don't let that fear continue getting in your way. So I hope that helps. Of course. Yeah, that's one of the ways in which the Illuminator's Amulet deck works best, is if you pose like yes or no questions to it. Or just like very simple questions in general. That's cute. But like I fully believe that everyone just kind of deserves that just innocent, just emotionally fulfilling love at some point in their lives. Everyone deserves that. And I'm happy that you found that for yourself. Even if that, like, doesn't end up progressing more than just, like, very close friends. I hope that's a very lasting thing for you. Because you deserve it. And as someone who did have that sort of love before, I can tell you that it is a very deeply healing experience. And I know it can be terrifying, but don't fear that. Okay. Yeah. Like I know that, like, when I kind of met someone like that in my life, that it was definitely very, like, terrifying for me, but it was something that eventually I opened myself up to, and that, like, eventually there came a point where I was just like, I don't give a fuck. I just gotta be honest here, and if it doesn't go anywhere, so be it. But that person is Adam. And though things may have shifted, and he may technically be my ex now, I've kind of realized that label status doesn't really fucking matter. Because he'll always be someone who's very close to me. Who will always be a constant in my life, no matter what. Even through some really fucking rough points. Including separating. That still didn't really change a whole lot, though. He's still a very significant person in my life, and he always will be, no matter what. And that's really all that matters. The label, the status doesn't really fucking matter. Oh, that's cute. I love that. Okay, are you ready, Pixie? Okay. What message does Pixie need to hear today? Oof. Aww. That's adorable. Okay. We have the Nine of Swords. Judgment. And Magician reversed. Okay? So, there's essentially a sense of just kind of... There's like some self-doubts and worries here that you're experiencing, and some fears. And just general like sense of not really like believing in yourself here. Not believing in yourself here is just kind of like the vibe that's coming from the Magician here. And essentially this is kind of causing like a bit of a blockage here for you towards going after what it is that you seek here, okay? This fear may be preventing you from not only believing in yourself, but putting yourself out there in like a meaningful way in some regard. Perhaps because you feel like you don't really have like much to offer in the way of something, or that you don't like, you're not like a viable option or something is like a sense that I'm getting. There's kind of a bit of a sense of imposter syndrome, essentially. essentially you're just kind of like doubting yourself and kind of putting yourself down a little bit and just kind of minimizing yourself. And this is kind of getting in the way of like you being where you want to be, or like doing what you want to be doing here, okay? And essentially the vibe here is you, with the Judgment card here, is that you know what you should be doing because you kind of have felt that, like, the thoughts crossed your mind before, and you've kind of, like, felt, like, called to do something, but you haven't, essentially, is, like, the vibe. The Judgment card is very much, like, a call-out from Spirit. The Judgment card is about, like, being, that's usually when it pops up anyway. Especially in, like, this sort of context. It's definitely, like, the call-out from Spirit. Because the Judgment card is all about, like, being close to something big here, okay? Being close to something big, being close to, like, the completion of a cycle, or, like, a breakthrough here, essentially, in some regard. And, it's a reminder that we need to keep following those calls and, like, those inner pulls that we feel towards something. Or, like, when we know we should, like, there's a better option that we could be choosing here, but we're just choosing to, like, not follow it because we're afraid of where the other one might lead. Or, like, afraid of change and changing that process. So there's definitely a sense of, like, you probably already know what you should be doing here, but you're letting these fears and these doubts and this, like, this lack of belief in yourself get in your way and preventing you from doing what you know is best here. So perhaps there is something, a thought that's popped up that you know that, like, this isn't really doing you any good, but you're continuing to do it anyway. And you know that you should be, like, putting yourself out there in a bigger way. Or at the very least that you should, like, stop telling yourself all these negative things. But yeah. So, essentially, just kind of try not to give in to these negative thought patterns and these fears and self-doubts so much, okay? Like, it's all about flipping that magician energy back in its upright position. Believing in yourself, trusting yourself, knowing that you have everything like that you need to get to where you want to be, and that you have the power to get there, essentially. So don't keep telling yourself these, like, negative things, okay? And if this is coming from an outside source and not yourself, but I do get the sense that it is coming from yourself, but this also does include others. Don't let the opinions of others influence you here, okay? Ooh. Oh, these two cards are going very, very in line. We have Heather and Heirloom Tomatoes. Okay. Heather, you are worthy, my dear. Silence the noise that strips you of your peace. Keywords here are peace of mind, protection of dreams, and worthy of admiration. Well. Rest easy, my dear. Your dreams are protected. You may have felt worried that your plans have been foiled or that a recent bout of competition is going to derail your success. There is no cause to fear this recent attack because, although annoying, it is confirmation that you were worthy of admiration, and those attempting to defeat you are projecting their own insecurities and fears that your light will dim theirs. Pay no attention to the noise unless they are absolutely negative. You may have to stand up for yourself here and there, but otherwise, much of what you are experiencing is a whole lot of bark and no bite. Do not let anyone else's criticisms plant doubts in what you have worked so hard to achieve. Keep your mind trained on your vision, establish boundaries, and remember that you have gotten yourself this far and you can go as far as you dare. If you are experiencing doubts, you can always try on someone's comments to see if they hold any truth. To do so is a healthy form of self-awareness as long as you do it with honesty. If for some reason you do find a criticism to be true, know that it is well within your ability to confront and overcome any shortcomings. All people have faults, but that doesn't mean those faults have to prevent you from achieving your goals. Thank the naysayers for bringing this to your attention, and then do what you do best. Evolve. Which is very, very much in line with that energy of the Magician upright, okay? That goes very in line with that. And Heirloom Tomatoes. Enter into the depths of intimacy where the seeds of your desires will be nourished. Keywords here are love, passion, and lust. Heirloom Tomatoes bring the promise of new romance for love seekers and renewed passions in an existing relationship. It goes beyond anything physical, entering into the depths of intimacy that is only accomplished by a deeper understanding of each other. Lust is born out of suggestive glances, feathery touches, and whisper kisses, teasing at something much more sensual. If this is not something you're experiencing, consider seeking fresh ways to introduce more play into a relationship, romantic or otherwise. It's just as important to experience love for yourself as it is for a lover. Are you making time for your passions? When was the last time you acted on your lust for anything? Not just a person, but also a goal, purchase, food, or location. This card guides you to give in to the need to spoil yourself and those around you. Everyone wants to be wanted and feel loved, including the universe. The extra affection goes a long way in stocking the seeds of desire, and you will find that the energy you give is also the energy you receive. Okay. Let's see what Eventide Affirmations wants to add here. Oh. Okay. Couple cards exploded out here. Okay. I trust that there are unseen forces collaborating with me to create the life I want. I draw boundaries between myself and others' energies. I do not take on what is not mine. So yes, if there is an outside influence that is kind of making you doubt yourself and feeding this sense of self-doubt, they can fuck off. And don't be afraid to set boundaries. Okay? And my potential is infinite. Very, very much going in line with that magician energy, okay? I hope that message helps. Of course. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, you got this shit, okay? Oh, and we got Eds. Okay. Okay. Ads should be over. Looks like they're over. So, James, are you still here? I'm not seeing them in chat list. I'll give it a few minutes though, just in case. Otherwise, I'll move on to the next person. I really like the energy of the readings today too. They've been very sweet. They've been very sweet. been a hint of sass. But they've mostly been very sweet. And just very supportive too. So, yeah. It's just very cute. Heck yeah. A good shower is always good. I might try to take one myself later and use some of my salt scrub. It's been a while since I've used my salt scrub. That always helps me feel better. It's part, like, part witchcraft, part, like, just, yeah. Part spell work, part, like, spa. Spa salt scrub. So. No worries. Okay. Not sure the other person is here. So I should probably move on. I'll go ahead and move to the next person. I know he's in a call though, but it's okay. I know he's here at least. I'll just wait for him to return. Okay. You're all good. I'll wait for you to get back so you can, like, pay attention. Like, give full attention to the reading. It's all good. Though while we're waiting, I suppose. Anyone... Since, like, I still have the Illuminators aiming it out, does anyone have a question that they want to ask? Like a simple yes or no question that they want to ask? Again, you don't have to type it in chat, but, like, if there's anyone who wants a question answered, just let me know, and I'll, pull a card from the Illuminator's amulet for you. It can be any question, just like a simple yes or no question, though, is usually best. Anyone have a question? I suddenly have a craving for ice cream. I should have gotten some when I went grocery shopping a few days ago, but I was already like spending enough. Welcome back. Yeah. I'm sure in your line of work, there's probably a lot that goes on. So, yeah. I used to work in IT, so I kinda... I get that. There's always something going wrong with technology. Okay? Always. Always some issue with tech of any kind. Okay. What message does Dixon need to hear today? Oof. Oh no. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh. Wait. What? This deck is so hard to shuffle sometimes, because, like... Hold on, I'll actually show you this. Like, the cards are actually... Like, the card stock is, like, really good, and it's, like, really, really fucking, like... It's thick and stiff, and yes, I know. Lots of jokes could be made there. But like, it's a beefy boy. And it's like really hard to shuffle because it's like so rigid. And every time I use this deck, it just like it reminds me that I just need to do like I need like grip strength training in my hands because oh It shuffles really well, though. It's just a bitch to shuffle at times. Go back to this. Okay. It's actually kind of funny that you say that. Upright or reversed? Upright or... Come on, upright or reversed? Upright or reversed? Upright or reversed? Upright or reversed? Okay. So, no joke, one of the first cards to pop out was the Two of Cups. We also have the Ace of Cups. So we have Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, and Hierophant reversed. Along with Six of Wands, I'm pretty certain. And Page of Coins. Pretty certain. Let me verify that real quick. Pretty certain it is the Six of Wands. Okay, so, essentially, like, there is, like, a sense of, like, new connection here, okay? And I know that this is, like, something that you're seeking for yourself here. And this can be both in the romantic sense, and given the Hierophant, I think they're also kind of speaking to spiritual connection as well, okay? So there's essentially the Two of Cups in particular is the one that actually, like, stands out to me, because the Two of Cups is essentially the card of, like, connections. Okay. So, I know this is something that you do want for yourself here, and they are definitely saying that it's possible. But I get the sense here that there's also a need to reconnect with spirit here. Is essentially the vibe, okay? You want a direct connection with spirit again, and they also want one with you, which is why the Hierophant reversed. Yeah, but as long as you keep telling yourself it's not possible, yeah, it won't happen. So, I do believe that was sass from someone, by the way. Because I say that because, like, I'm not on camera, but there was some finger shaking going on. And yeah. Yeah. There was definitely some sass coming from someone there. But anyway. Yeah. And I get the sense that that's why there's kind of like always been like a sense of just like patience and like focusing on the self first and focusing on reconnecting with spirit so that you can have like a more direct sense of like guidance here, okay? And I get the sense that that's where like this Hierophant reverse is coming into play, because there is like a sense of disconnection here, and this is something that you're hoping to like open yourself up to again. And essentially, before you can get to this, you first need to reconnect with spirit and their guidance here, okay? And doing this will lead you to some personal success here, okay? I told myself that too, but it was when I stopped looking for it and when I least expected it that it just kind of fell into my lap, okay? And sometimes it comes to us in unexpected ways. From unexpected sources, or just generally when we least expect it. That's just how it works sometimes. So, essentially, like, going in line with, like, the last reading, essentially, like, following, like, the path with the hobby that you wanted to last time to essentially give you something productive to focus on, to distract yourself with. I get the sense that that's, like, going in the right start, okay? Because it's when we have those moments alone and we have time to ground ourselves that we actually do strengthen that connection to ourselves and in turn to spirit, okay? Because it's during those moments of pause and relaxation where we just get to shut everything else out that sometimes spirit steps in and drops things into our awareness, okay? That's why it's important to slow down and take time for ourselves. It's replenishing for us, but it also gives us a moment for spirit to communicate with us in some form or another. So, I get the sense that going in line with that, because that was definitely the vibe of the last reading, like, stepping into that, like, onto that path with your hobby that you wanted to get into, I get the sense that that's, like, taking a step towards the right direction, because it'll give you some time to just, like, do something productive and give you time alone to just, you know, like, focus on doing things that like you want to do. And learning a new skill is always like a positive in general. So if this is how you choose to, you know, like take a step back and just give yourself some just like space to unwind essentially, then yeah, go for it. So yeah. Heck yeah, that would be cool. Didn't even think about that. I wonder if there are any like blacksmith streamers. That'd actually be pretty fucking cool to watch. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, just go for it. And yes, these moments of solitude where you can just kind of like turn your brain off a little bit and not focus on like all the everyday shit. Will give, you know, like more space for like spirit as well to communicate. So yeah, exactly, yeah. But yes, so reconnect. This will essentially give space for like spirit to reconnect, okay? So definitely try that out, see how that goes, and try to rekindle that connection with them as well when you have the capacity to focus on it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they will, because like I've said before, they're always there. They're always listening. Even if you like don't sense them, they're always there. Like, I talk about Mr. Sass all the time, like he's always present here. Like always. Even if I can't like, even if I'm not like focusing on it, like I'll always hear him just kind of like whisper things occasionally. He likes whispering like he just likes whispering like little just like sweet like positive things occasionally. Even when I'm like not paying attention. That might be. Like, I have a question, actually. Speaking of that, hold on. Does he has a beard, yes? Does he have, well, you said he's appeared to you in a dream. I don't know if he's actually, if you actually, like, remember what he looks like. like, does he have... He has a beard, yes. Does he have brown hair? Is it kind of like wavy? Like not curly, but kind of like wavy? Not like entirely wavy either. Yeah. So, yeah. So, it's interesting that you mentioned shadow. Okay, ads. Welcome back. Is it the hair, like, is it like shorter, like mid-length, or is it like really long? Yeah. Okay. And by like beard, like, I don't mean like a super long beard, it was like a shorter, well-maintained one that was like closer to the jaw. Yeah. I bring that up because once you fucking mentioned shadow, I was just like, wait. Hold on a second. So, like, I want to say it was kind of like a few days before, like, you first popped into a stream. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very tall. Yeah. Yeah. Which creeped me out. Okay. So, yeah. About that. A few days before you first popped into a stream, I had a dream of, like, a really fucking tall, like, yes, shadow with very fucking long legs that creeped me the fuck out. And it just kind of kept popping up. And, like, it creeped me out. But, then there was... Yes! Yes! It doesn't do anything, it just stands there. And, unfortunately, no, my queue is not open. It is closed for the night. And so it disappeared for a bit because I was, like, getting uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah. It disappeared for a bit because I was, like, getting uncomfortable, but then, like, the dream shifted a little bit, and then, like, the next part that I do remember of that dream... What? That's weird. Huh. So, the next part of that dream that I remember after that shadow disappeared was, just... The weird thing is it was, like, suddenly the dream had shifted. And you know how sometimes, like, perspective can also, like, shift in a dream? Suddenly the dream had, like, shifted to where it was, like, I was, like, as if I was, like, watching someone else's, like, stream. And then the shadow appeared again. Like, yeah. And just, like, materialized and just got, like, fucking, like, more and more, like, solid. And people were freaking out, okay? And the next thing I know, that the reason I ask about his description is because the next thing I know is this man is suddenly making an appearance. Like, not directly from the shadow, he, like, kind of stepped in from, like, the outside. From, like, off camera, essentially. Because, again, remember the perspective that the dream is occurring in at the time. And, like, he talks to me a little bit and stuff. Asks me my name. And it's just, you know, like, kind of, like, soothing and, like, comforting. Yeah. I talked for, like, a little bit, though I don't remember, like, some of what was actually discussed. And it was shortly after that that I woke up. And I remember, like, I'm pretty certain, because he does this sometimes when, like, I'm having, like, particularly bad nightmares. Mr. Sass, pulled me out of the dream. And, like, he was, like, comforting me because, like, there's a bit of, like, distress. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, he wasn't, like, he definitely wasn't, like, intending to scare me. It was just that at the time it was an unknown presence. Because he popped up again. Not in a way that I can see, because I don't know if you know what aphantasia is. Aphantasia is essentially like, so most people, when you ask them to visualize something in their head, they can actually see an object in their head to varying degrees. Those with aphantasia, when they try to imagine anything in their head, it's just blank. They can't visualize things. I have aphantasia. I don't see things. I get like occasional flashes from spirit, but other than that, I don't actually like visualize things. But no, he wasn't cold. It was just there was a sense of discomfort because I was uncertain of like what the fuck this shadow was, and again, really like yeah, long legs, super creepy, was just kind of like, are you dangerous? Should I be afraid of you? Who the fuck are you? Yeah. I guess you have an answer about that. Perhaps. Also, I'm not sure if this is gonna help contextualize anything there for you, Dixon. Have I ever told you what my actual name is? Because Evie is just a nickname. My actual name is Eva, the Spanish version of Eve. Do you want to take a guess as to what my ex-partner, significant other's name is? Yes. You can do with that info what you want. I have a... Divinity has quite a sense of humor with me. And I appear to have a very strong connection to divinity in general. I don't know why. That's part of where some of that self-doubt comes from, because it's just like... Why? Am I really actually experiencing those things correctly, or am I just fucking making them up? Because again, like, why would deities have any interest in me at all? What purpose would that connection, like, serve? Like, why? Especially coming from someone who doesn't have the greatest relationship with religion growing up. And deities. Because religious trauma and the way that, like, I'm Latina, so I was baptized Catholic and didn't have the greatest experience with shit growing up, okay? And not gonna get too far into it, and I'm not intending to make anyone uncomfortable, like, by, like, saying this, and I sincerely apologize in advance if this does happen to make anyone uncomfortable. But, like, if I, just to put it simply, like, there were times where, like, if I did not go to church, I was threatened with punishment. And I don't just mean grounding, or, like, yeah, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, to then have deities start popping up when I started going down, like, my spiritual journey after like getting into tarot and stuff and connecting more deeply with that and stuff, to then suddenly have like apparently just have like deities just start popping up and just be like, hey, we're your guides, by the way, was just kind of like, huh? Who the fuck are you? And what do you want with me? Also, like, why would I trust you? You do realize who you're talking to, right? So, uh-huh. I was very much, for most of my life, after I separated myself from, like, that, like, part of my past, I was very much not, like, atheist, but agnostic. I definitely got the sense that maybe there was, like, something out there, I just didn't know what, and I also didn't know that if I would like agree with any that might actually exist. Very much bordering on like disbeliever though, so um, it was very confusing. It was very confusing. And over like the past year as that's like developed, because this has only been happening specifically with like connection to guides and stuff, that's only been around for like about a year. And that has been a very crazy, hectic, fucking chaotic year, okay? So I always worry about like if I'm actually like experiencing things like correctly, if my experiences are genuine, and yeah, because it's still very new and I don't understand why. Like, why they would have an interest in me at all. Just like, eh. What do I potentially have to offer you? What do you want with me? Like, what? So, yes. So, it's not surprising to me that he in particular would make himself known. Go for it. My DMs on Discord are always open, so people who are on the server do have the ability to message me, yeah. If you don't want to share them in the actual, like, Discord server. And if you'd rather share them privately. That is. But yeah. So, yeah, no, he's made himself known in a dream, apparently, as well. And he's also popped in once during the time you got like sassed a little bit, and like someone was fucking with you by like giving you all that fire energy card, like all the fire energy cards when you were like joking about like spicy. Because I definitely heard like a kind of like that deep sort of like belly laugh type of vibe. I was picking up on that, and I was just like, huh? And then like that name popped up, and I was just like, oh, well, hi, I guess. But yeah. So yes, he has made himself known. He doesn't, there hasn't been much that's been discussed, like, just because they're around doesn't mean they, like, speak to me very much, but I do definitely pick up on energies. Like, in fact, the only thing, if you're curious, the only two things that I heard from him, and this is kind of the moment where I realized that there was actually someone else here. Yeah, exactly. And again, that's where I think there's like this sass here, okay? With the Hierophant reversed. But, he has spoken, just very little, okay? Other than the laugh, the only thing that I've ever actually heard him say directly, which is when I realized that, oh, there is someone here, hold on. The first reading I gave you, which is when you got sassed with that reading with all the fire energy and shit, before he left, like before I like started putting the cards away and stuff, I suddenly heard a thank you for the reading, and I was like, huh? Who the fuck? But yes. I will say that yes, they can very much be like that sometimes with like the people that they're like there to guide. Yes. Mr. Sass is definitely also very much like that as well. His sass gets him in trouble sometimes too, so. uh, but that's also kind of what that's also kind of like what Ra's also kind of like there for too as well. He kind of like straightens him out a little bit sometimes. They were very close. They still are very close. Which makes sense considering Set was at one time his bodyguard, so, and a protector, so yes. He's a very close trusted friend, so. But yes, would not surprise me that Cernunnos would be like that for you. Yeah, they can sometimes be like that. They can sometimes be like that. So, but yeah, he's also he is very kind though. So, yes. uh, but yeah. So anyways, let's see what the Oracle wants to add. Pretty much. Just, try to take some time for yourself and, yeah, make the connection. Okay, we have 3 cards here. We have butterflies, sun magic, speaking of a sun god, and wand making. uh, uh. Okay, butterflies. Here in the unknown, you will find the essence of who you really are and what magic awaits. Yeah, I think they definitely got a laugh out of that one, and I'm assuming he's also here just being silent. Keywords here are breakthrough, transcendence, and profound change. The humble caterpillar melting down and rebuilding itself. Oh, I remember this card. It uses a phrase that I fucking love. The humble caterpillar melting down and rebuilding itself into a stunning butterfly is one of the most beautiful symbols of transformation the world has ever seen. And talk about an extreme makeover. A caterpillar essentially digests itself by releasing special enzymes within the chrysalis that dissolves its tissues into a soup of proteins. I love that. I love that phrasing. And that are then used to rebuild the body, forming its wings, legs, and the rest of its anatomy. A caterpillar's willingness to completely break itself down is what leads to such profound change. It may be difficult, but it knows it has outgrown its current state and it's time to set itself free. You are in the midst of a profound breakthrough and are about to transcend your understanding of who you were until this point. Spiritual signs come so rarely in the form of a huge flashing billboard, but in this case you can expect something truly dramatic to shake up your way of being. Whether or not this change is the result of a devastating event or a happy coincidence is unknown at this point. Either way, your life will look completely different a year from now as a result of what happens in the coming months. Pay special attention to synchronicities and dreams as they are appearing to get your attention. They are your confirmation that what is happening is meant for you and you should continue to follow the threads. Additionally, this card is validation of a desire to make a significant life change, and it means yes when asking yes or no questions. Yes. Very overall, yes. Very positive. And going very much in line with these 2 cards here about the personal success and such. So, also it looks like we have starting soon. Hey, that doesn't mean that that's the timeline in which it'll happen. It just means that in a year from now, there will be such a profound change in between that amount of time that you look back and just be like, wow. and then sun magic. Well, I'll wait because I don't know when the ads are going to start here. The little notification is there, but ads haven't started yet. Okay. Yep. Oof. Ow. Yeah. They occur every, like, half an hour. There are the ads. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Mm. Mm. Hello. I'm doing well. How are you? Welcome back. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Okay. So the next card for you here was Sun Magic. Don't allow the power of your light to scare you into dimming yourself. Keywords here are life, energy, and vitality. You are coming into great alignment with your soul, and as a result, you are literally shining brighter than ever before. Your energy and vitality are slowly growing, and you may even experience physical bursts of energy when this card comes into your reading. Your vibration is rising, and you are pulling yourself out of the shadows you have recently experienced. If you are inquiring about a situation or recent challenge, pulling this card is your welcome sign that not only are things coming to a close, but you will be victorious. As a symbol of growth, this card invites you to be noticed. Don't be afraid to let other people experience your energy. This is a positive card for those wishing to be in the public eye, as it means you will be well received, and more than that, people are already looking to you for guidance. The shadow side of this card is the pressure to be all things for all people. Know that sharing your light does not mean you have to be on constant display. You are allowed to keep some things to yourself, and no one should have total access to your energy, especially not for free. Don't be afraid to charge for what your energy and time are worth, which is true whether you are selling something physical such as a product or service, or in your personal life among your family and friends. Relationships should be give and take. It is not your responsibility to loan your light to other people. They must learn to activate their own light so that you can both bask in glory. Yeah, but I'd more so take this in the sense that, like, this is about, like, allowing yourself to be seen and putting yourself out there, okay? And also, this might also be kind of, like, going in line with what you said about, like, what you might do with, like, the blacksmithing and, like, streaming it and stuff. So maybe that's something you should actually try out once you get comfortable enough with it. Yeah, and that's all good. I don't get the sense that this is, like, about right now, but rather this is what comes. Part of what comes here, okay? After you first experience this reconnection, okay? This is part of what comes, okay? Also, pointing out that card on camera just also reminded me too, like, speaking of sun energy, I wear that ring all the time. Okay. And wand making. With a flick of focus, you will come to see a vision realized. Keywords are creation, directing energy, and manifestation. A wand is a ritualistic tool that is used to direct energy and also to summon energy, angels, and deities. It's a way to connect with your desired outcome, opening a channel of manifestation from the spirit realm to you on Earth. This is a card of vision and focus on your desires. When it appears, you may be looking ahead to your future, beginning to craft a clear understanding of what you want your life to look like in the coming days, months, and even years. Receiving this card is your encouragement to hold the vision and direct all of your energy toward these goals, but keep your mind and eyes open. As you focus your intention on manifesting your dreams, you'll find that the right opportunities and people will connect with your energy, offering exactly what you need to get ahead. The last meaning of this card is that you are creating a stable position for yourself. The foundations are being laid for what will likely be great success. Your confidence is growing, and with it your momentum. Keep up the good work, with your dreams front and center. Overall, very positive, okay? Very positive. Very encouraging message. There's just a bit of sass about reconnecting with them. Exactly. It's just like, I swear to fuck if you don't do this. Okay, oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. That's actually kind of funny. Every time I get this card, I'm always just like, that card looks very suspicious. I'll put that one last, okay? I'll put that one last. Yes, it looks a little suspicious every time. It's honestly quite funny, and I can guarantee you it's because they fucking got jokes, okay? He reminds me a lot of Mr. Sass, okay? Like, yeah. You got, I give voice to my darkness, empowering myself to transmute it. Bleh. I invite myself to relax as often as I need. Like, Mr. Sass is a little shit, okay? And I'm not afraid to say that because he fucking finds it funny because he very much has that trickster energy and that's kind of his entire fucking vibe. He also gives me that kind of vibe too, so just yeah, quite a sense of humor. Definitely thinks he's very funny. And that's because he is. I am more powerful than I imagine. I am unafraid of the fire within. And the suspicious looking card. Every day I create the world I want to live in. Do you see why it's suspicious? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I hope that message helps. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Every time that card pops up, it always just makes me laugh because it's just like. I really hope you guys were self-aware enough to realize what that kind of looks like before you like actually like fucking approved that card to be in that deck, okay? With that design. And if you were gonna put that design on there, you could have fucking leaned into it just like all the way by putting like some fucking message relating to like manifestation or creation on that one, okay? And just leaned into it like full force. Okay. Okay. Also, welcome back, Bree. I don't think I acknowledged your message earlier. I'm sorry. I meant to and then just kind of blanked. I hope your stream went well, by the way, Bree. I was hoping to make it there. Okay, let's see what closing message they got for us tonight. Nope. Nope. Okay. I think... Is this the King of Wands? I think it is. Let me verify. Yes. Okay. We have the King of Wands, the Hanged Man reversed, and the Knight of Swords. So, if you find yourself a bit stuck or stagnant currently, what's needed here is a bit of strength and courage, okay? Believe in yourself, believe in what you have to offer, okay? Because you do have a lot to offer. Okay? It's okay to go after the things you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? And don't let anything get in your way. Take action on your passions here, on your desires, after the things that you feel pulled to, okay? Just confidence, okay? Confidence. Confidently step into this and move forward, okay? Don't let these fears hold you back. Don't let this, like, doubt in yourself hold you back. Don't let imposter syndrome hold you back. Okay? Own what you have. Own what you want. And fucking go after it. Don't let those uncertainties get in the way either. Okay. Okay, for some reason there's only one card. Okay. Yep, I see why they wanted one card. Heather. They're very much about to just be like, bitch, we said what we said. You are worthy, my dear. Silence the noise that strips you of your peace. Keywords here are peace of mind, protection of dreams, and worthy of admiration. Rest easy, my dear. Your dreams are protected. You may have felt worried about your plans, that your plans have been foiled, or that a recent bout of competition is going to derail your success. There is no cause to fear this recent attack. Sorry, Nightbot's a little overzealous sometimes. I apologize for that. There's no cause to fear this recent attack, because although annoying, it is confirmation that you are worthy of admiration, and those attempting to defeat you are projecting their own insecurities and fears that your light will dim theirs. Pay no attention to the noise unless they are absolutely negative. You may have to stand up for yourself here and there, but otherwise, much of what you are experiencing is a whole lot of bark and no bite. Do not let anyone else's criticisms plant doubt in what you have worked so hard to achieve. Keep your mind trained on your vision. Establish boundaries and remember that you've gotten yourself this far and you can go as far as you dare. If you are experiencing doubts, you can always try on someone's comments to see if they hold any truth. To do so is a healthy form of self-awareness, and as long as you do it with honesty. If for some reason you do find a criticism to be true, know that it is well within your ability to confront and overcome any shortcomings. All people have faults, but that doesn't mean those faults have to prevent you from achieving your goals. Thank the naysayers for bringing this to your attention, and then do what you do best. Evolve. Alrighty. They're just like, don't let anyone else get in your way either, because fuck what they gotta say. Just, I like the phrase of all bark and no bite. Just like, those bitches ain't shit. Just move on. Don't know who's laughing, but... My goodness. Let's see what they got for us from this. Yeah, all plants do. Plants absolutely communicate with each other. Just because we don't know how to interpret them doesn't mean that they don't still, yeah. Okay. We got... Endings can make room for what I want to call into my life. Don't hold on to old shit. Let those chapters that are closing close. Okay? Learn from it. Move on. I trust that there are unseen forces collaborating with me to create the life I want. And, again, I'm more powerful than I imagine. So, in other words, fuck the critics, you do you. You got this shit, okay? So, I hope that message helps. And with that, it is unfortunately time for me to call it. I need to go take care of myself and probably go get a little bit more food. Go find a snack. Probably. And just go take time to relax. Really. Thank you all for stopping by. Whether you join the queue, talked in chat, or just lurked, I appreciate you sharing your time with me, and I appreciate your support. I hope to see you all again soon, but for now.